And hello, good evening. It's 5 o'clock and it's time for another bout of live train sim driving. This week it'll be Train Sim World 5, and I've been a bit more prepared this week. I've got a bit more time on my hands today, so we have got an intro. So let's start off. Here's the intro. Well, good evening, Zachary. Microphone's well and truly switched on now. No, you've not missed anything. Welcome to the stream. We're going to be pretty much on Train Sim World 5 tonight. I've had a bit more time on my hands today, so I managed to put together that intro. I then meant to play the one with the timetable on, but you saw it in the end, the bit towards the end. So we'll start off. We're going to be on the West Coast Main Line south with a journey from Euston to Milton Keynes, but the West Coast Main Line South has had a bit of an upgrade in the last week. So we've got new sounds for the Class 350 and the suspension upgrade as well. So we'll be able to take a look at that and we'll see what that is all about. It's a pretty good upgrade actually, because there's a greater timetable being set in place now compared with what was before. So they've had some help from Forks, who put together the unofficial mod that's been available as well for quite some time. And we've also had the gameplay pack out, so we'll take the Class 66 and the HKA wagons. So the first half of the stream is going to be West Coast Main Line South, and then we'll kind of move into a little bit more wintry mode and do a couple of runs in the snow on a couple of other routes. So let's start off with the 350. So I'm going to set this back a month actually, because I tend to find that December's grim enough as it is without actually doing a run to replicate it. Let's try for a kind of a more autumnal afternoon. I think we're going to do a London Euston to Milton Keynes stopping service. We'll go for early afternoon, I think, to begin with. You can see I think there's a lot more trains have been put into this timetable now. That will do is 12:37. So let's get started. So there are more suffragette line services included now. Sorry, not suffragette. Lioness services. Lioness services at London Euston to Watford Junction. Thanks, by the way, for, again, anybody watching, whether you're watching now or you're watching it back, but for the support. And the channel's just done a 12-month anniversary over the last couple of days, so thanks for the 426 people who have subscribed to the channel over the last 12 months. Really appreciating the support to each and every one of you. Well, let's get so we need to put the hi Duncan, welcome again. Yeah, good to see you. Hope you're doing well on this December afternoon. And also thanks as well to some of the people who've subscribed in the last week as well. There's been a few more subscribers. Very pleased to see that. Let's get the doors open then. Oh, I don't know what I've done there. I've got a rather greyed out screen in the corner there, haven't I? I've not seen that before. Yeah, we'll go for daylight, I think. I've got some of the mods still installed, so we do have the London North Western logos on there. That's very strange with that mod. Not seen that happen before. Yeah, locked doors it says. I've got to look at it close up now to see what it says. Yes, I wished it was. I wished it was. But at least we're getting towards. I'm hoping really to get things towards the 500 mark. That's kind of the first target. Alright, we're back again with the proper screen at the top. Oh, that's made me relieved because I was a bit concerned for a minute. Now, we've now got better suspension, so you're going to see this train wobble about all over the place over the tracks. And it's, I mean, it was a pretty good train to drive before actually, but it really is fabulous now. That horn sounds quite loud. It's not massively often I've done a full run to Milton Keynes, and assuming we're getting into the terminus platforms, I'll have to remember, because the last time I did a live stream where we had a service that terminated at Milton Keynes, I kind of didn't realise the bay platform was so short and kind of went into the buffer stops. And we are emerging up Camden Bank, and we're going really slowly at the moment, and we've got a nice long unit. I think it's 8 car, isn't it? Yeah, I thought I'd make it sort of November autumnal sunshine, because if you go for December then it kind of looks a bit dull and washed out. So first stop is Harrow and Wealdstone, and then we have Bushy, Watford Junction, Kings Langley, Apsley, Hemel Hempstead, Berkhamsted, Tring, Cheddington, Leighton Buzzard, Bletchley, and then finally Milton Keynes Central. I hope the sounds, the improved sounds of the unit are coming across nice and well. Now, ooh, now this always catches me out, doesn't it? Oh, wasn't too bad, but when you're on the slow lines, you get the 50, but then it very quickly goes down to 40. Now, if we were going through to South Hampstead, we'd have taken those tunnels off to the left there for the DC lines, but we are in effect on the slow lines, certainly as far as Harrow and Wealdstone anyway. So hope you're doing well on this Sunday afternoon. So if you missed the start, then I can tell you this is that stopping service, this 350 to Milton Keynes Central. Then we're going to have a look at the HKA wagons that came out with the Class 66 and the gameplay pack in midweek. And then beyond that, we've got a couple of runs in the snow then. So we're going to take the Midland Main Line from Nottingham through to Leicester in the HST, and then finally it will be the Isle of Wight route with the old Class 484, as they're called now, the old D stock. Again, it's breathed a bit more life into the route. I mean, it was already a fabulous route, but it's the first chance really at driving this with the new suspension. I did have a quick go on it yesterday without doing a full run. It's funny when these upgrades come up, it seems as though, oh, that was the there's a slight oddity there. I think that should have been joined up. We've got a carriage missing. It's the Children in Need logo, because I've kind of got the mod installed, but there might actually be I might be a couple of mods behind with all the various versions of it that keep coming out almost constantly. Yeah, absolutely, Zachary. Well, enjoy your dinner, and that's always priority. And we are literally on that bit between London Euston and, well, we've just gone past Queen's Park. We're on the way to Harrow and Wealdstone. So, yeah, enjoy your dinner, and look forward to talking to you again. That one got all its carriages intact. Always such a busy area this as you enter Wembley. And, well, Willesden and Wembley really. We've soon got the increase in the speed limit to 90 miles an hour. 75 is our initial speed limit. Well, for now anyway. Of course, it's 25 out of the blocks at Euston. And I've said it quite a few times before, but love to hear that thud over the points. And I think now that with the suspension, I mean, I think pretty much Dovetail Games said that they essentially reinvented the Class 350, and they've reworked the physics from well, bottoms up, I suppose you could say. Or they've certainly put a lot of work into it too. I mean, it was a pretty decent drive initially, and again, we're not totally sure about the who built what. It seems as though it's probably built by Reworked Games. Evening, Christopher. Oh, of course, yes, indeed. Yeah, well, it's quite handy actually to be able to keep an eye on both. Of course, yes, it's the big Manchester derby at the moment, isn't it, today? I mean, up until quite recently, it seemed as though it was going to be a guaranteed Manchester City win, but it seems as though the way things have been going just lately for City, then you'd almost be surprised if City won, the way their form's been just lately. Ah, excellent. Well, no harm in watching both. Yeah, it's funny sometimes, these big games don't always live up to the billing. And I mean, I remember with the FA Cup last year, Manchester United, Liverpool, and you kind of thought, oh, well, it'll probably be a boring game, and it ended up finishing 4-3. Ah, okay, right. Yeah, that's one thing I don't quite have the chance to do. I've kind of got a couple of screens going with this, so I can't quite keep an eye on the football. Oh, we got a Bakerloo line train. And there's a lot more Bakerloo line and Lioness services now following the upgrade. It's a lot more available in the timetable. I think the consoles, depending on what sort of console it is, I think that's upgraded as well. I think if it's some of the older consoles, then it's not quite the full timetable, but they've certainly improved the whole route all round. Yeah, I remember the FA Cup final last year. It was almost, well, it was a real surprise on the day to see Manchester United win the FA Cup, and that's kind of seems strange to imagine Manchester United as the underdogs, but how things have changed in the last few years. One thing I do remember about the timetable on this was that how it came out originally, it was it seemed very slack, the timetable. It was, so it'll be interesting to see if it's a bit tighter. So I was saying at the start, a year on from I think the last couple of days, actually, the first anniversary of the channel, and of course the live stream's only been started in September, but so I'm hoping if I can get past the 500 subscriber mark come Christmas and the New Year. And thanks again to everybody that has already liked and subscribed. If you're new to the channel, you're watching back the video, either way, if you could do that, and also click on the notification button as well, because it'll tell you when videos are coming up. We're a bit too slow there, actually. Yeah, that should do us for this 8-car unit. Ah, excellent, Christopher. I hope you enjoyed it. And again, it's perfectly possible to do that on Trade Sim Classic. Was that a stoppage service, or well, yeah, it must have been. But I suppose Hatfield, a lot of them are the semi-fast ones, aren't they? I think most of the kind of like Welling Garden City and all that sort of stuff are from Moorgate. I'm not sure what happened there with the doors. Did that take so long to actually open them? Right, now we can close them. There's one slight defect with the sound still, I think. Yeah, I suppose you can hear you did hear the clunk, didn't you, just about? Should be a nice firm clunk when the door's shut. Oh, well. Sorry, I'm going to potty it. Yeah, you see, from the inside, you can actually hear the clunk quite distinctly. So Bushy is next. I was thinking actually I must do a stream of, you know, sort of Moorgate to either to Welling or somewhere on the Hertford Loop. Yeah, excellent, excellent. And that was probably on one of those 700s, wasn't it? Or, well, yeah, one of the kind of Thames-linky time trains. And that's a good route as well. Alan Thompson Simulation have done a good version all the way to Cambridge. And there's actually some ones, I think they call them the Cambridge Flyers, where essentially your first stop is Cambridge. And then I think you've got the semi-fasts that stop at various key stations along the way, and typically I think Hatfield, Potter's Bar are two of those. Cambridge is lovely to wander around as well when you get the chance. I've done that a couple of times over the years. Yeah, I think this is a much busier timetable now than was on the game before. We're going to be stopping at Bushy, which is, of course, just outside Watford Junction. I was looking through the Christmas Radio Times a bit earlier on, Christopher. I was thinking about Bullseye is on next Sunday. Oh, excellent! Yeah, do you know that's something I've never done? I've, you know, I've walked along the Cam and seen how lovely it is. But with my stability, I might struggle to get in and out of the boat, to be honest. But no, I'm sure I'd be all right. But I bet it's absolutely lovely, and just imagine the scene on a gorgeous summer's day. Of course, there's technically two ways of getting from London to Cambridge as well. You can go from Liverpool Street as well on the West Anglia line, but that's something that's missing on Train Simulator. We haven't got that at the moment. There's a chap called Nathan, I seem to remember his name, who's been building bits of that for years, but never quite comes out. Yes. Absolutely, can't beat a bit of bully. No Jim Bowen though now, sadly, of course. Can't remember who's presenting it actually. Yeah. Yeah, it is actually, isn't it? Yeah. But that's definitely a ride I must do on Train Sim at some point, because the Alan Thompson version of the route's been very, very nicely done, and I think Alan Thompson himself is from Cambridge, so you almost feel, not saying they didn't put more effort into the other stuff, but it's almost like they wanted to make sure they got that one spot on. Oh yes, right, okay, yeah, yeah. I was kind of thinking, right, yeah, we're back on Bullseye. Watched a few videos actually on YouTube. I can't remember exactly when Jim Bowen died, but he posted quite a number of videos on YouTube, kind of telling stories and about the days of being involved with Bullseye. But I think a few people have observed they were slightly exaggerated, because he referenced certain episodes and people said, yeah, I've seen that one, that's available somewhere, and it's not quite as he described it. But he was a good storyteller though, all the same. Now, I've got a feeling that we are going to be kept on the slow lines pretty much the whole way, because there aren't too many that stop at both Harrow, Wealdstone, Bushy and Watford Junction, and then I think it'll keep us on the slow lines all the way up to Milton Keynes. So we'll kind of do these first two scenarios in the autumnal weather, and then for the last couple, when we get on to, well, the Isle of Wight will be the last thing, and then the Nottingham Leicester one before that we'll do in the snow, I think, because I've downloaded a mod where it kind of improves the snowflakes. It looks quite nice. Always little things being done here and there. There's some very talented people out there. Yeah, it really is, yeah. And you know, if we take the Pendolino, which we've done a time or two on the stream, I think it's less than half an hour, isn't it? Something like that. Might be just over half an hour at the very worst, but it's a fast run, and of course quite a lot of them don't stop at Watford Junction either. It's a bit like this yesterday actually, driving about a bit. Lovely day. Nice to see a bit of sunshine this time of the year. In fact, it's so fast from Milton Keynes to Euston. I think it's probably barely worth the bother of having first class, because I think they only just about have time to serve you a drink, let alone any food. There's a fast LNWR service going through. I've seen too many Pendolinos on the run so far. I think it's sometimes just all about the timing. So King's Langley, the next stop. And again, thanks for everybody watching today, and the support always greatly appreciated. And again, if you've only just picked it up and you just started watching it, then if you haven't done it before, then be tremendously grateful if you would like and subscribe. I'm hoping to do a few videos over Christmas, time permitting, some perhaps shorter runs, and they'll be recorded ones rather than live ones. Finally managed to get the bonfire night video up in the week, which I've been planning to do, well, since November the 5th actually. That's when I had a few computer problems. We've got 90, but then we're quickly down to 70. So I'm not going to massively go up in speed, because once we get past the next signal, we're dropping down to 70 again. As usual, let me know if the sound of the train's a bit quiet, or if I'm a bit too loud, or if the balance isn't quite right. It's always slightly different with different routes, and it's always a slightly different experience. So this is the brief period where we've got 2 tracks on the slow lines, and then we'll rejoin the fast lines in a minute. Now we're through Watford tunnels. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's definitely a good idea. Yeah, it's something I might have a go at doing. There's certainly plenty to choose from. I thought it was a good chance today to have a look at this with the new upgrade, and now we've got suspension properly orchestrated now on this 350, and as we go over the points, you can see it bouncing about a bit. Pass under the M25 in a second. And all eyes when we get to Milton Keynes as well. I'll try and make sure I remember if we're in the bay platform, try and make sure I don't hit the buffer stops this time. That should do us for the 8 carriages. It was I think we're 8, aren't we? Or are we 4? Yeah, we're only 4, aren't we? I thought we were 8. There are a lot more longer trains though now, which is good to see, because nearly all of them were 4 originally when the route came out. Remember not to give it too much welly from the very off. You don't have to feel as though you're taking off like a plane. So Apsley the next stop. Got the one of the special Pendolinos as well there. That's the Pride one, wasn't it, that one? So I'm hoping to still do a live stream next Sunday and then the week after. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it is. And I mean, it's such a busy route as well, but it's lovely how they've done it, and I think it's it was always going to be, I think Amazed Taze said before, but you know, it's kind of like it's the premier line, you know, it's and it kind of is. It's the, I think everybody wanted to see the West Coast Main Line. I mean, some people were annoyed about the fact that the Trains of the World route only goes as far as Milton Keynes, but I kind of guessed that's all we were going to get. It was going to be asking too much to go to Rugby or Northampton or even Birmingham New Street, and hopefully at some point we'll get it extended. But the detail is a sight to behold, and it's good to see all the mods as well, which has improved it. I mean, of course, there was all that debate about there being no LNWR branding when it first came out. There's cautious stops and then there's cautious stops. Sometimes I overdo it. But, I think as well, yeah, this is, yeah, it's pretty busy. We've got the right moquettes, I think, for the seats. I think it's fabulous that they've actually got this all correct as well. And again, that logo wasn't on the original. Oh. That was the climate change one. Yeah, there's something missing though with one or two of the, I think perhaps there's one or two mods that I need to reinstall again, because we're getting the odd carriage missing, I've noticed. To like make sure you don't feel as though you've been decapitated here as well. Oh, and something else you can do as well, which is kind of makes you feel a bit more enclosed. Oh yes, I'll put it into neutral just so as we could I could have a little walk about. I bet that doesn't happen in real life. The driver leaves his seat at a station and just has to wander down the carriage for a few seconds. Yeah, I definitely need to re-download that mod, because I've seen that Children in Need one about 3 times now. Hampstead is next. I mean, the catenary isn't perfect in every respect all the way, but it certainly gives you a feeling for the 1960s catenary. And this is one of those routes that I'll never be bored of driving. I mean, I think if you go into Milton Keynes, you know, regardless of anything else, you wouldn't choose this service, because even if, okay, the Avanti would be a bit more expensive, but even if you're on an LNWR ticket, there's much faster trains, like the crew ones, for example. I think they're, some of them, the first stop might be Milton Keynes, possibly Watford Junction, but not too many getting off at Hemel Hempstead. And after we've done this with this, we'll actually do a rare foray into doing a freight service, and that's with the new HKA wagons coming out in that gameplay pack in midweek. So we'll still be on West Coast Main Line, and that'll be a run from Bletchley to Wembley. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's a rare event. It's a rare event, but I mean, people do have real lives as well, though, as watching train simulator streams, so I can understand that. But it's good to see the regulars, and always welcome, and good to see new viewers, good to see returning viewers as well. We've got a bit more of a gap between before our next stop at Berkhamsted. I was having a mess around with the East London line, because of course there's been a lot of stuff come out recently for the overground with the Class 378 pack for from Armstrong Powerhouse, and had great fun on that. And I kind of realised that actually you can more or less do the vast majority of the full run from Highbury and Islington through to Crystal Palace on that. There's a bit missing, the Shoreditch High Street, Hoxton, and then on to Haggerston. Haggerston's on, and then you can kind of go Whitechapel and beyond that through Wapping and all the rest of it, and then eventually New Cross, and then on to Crystal Palace on the other side. You do have to keep concentration going on this though, because it's a pretty fast run, but the stations do come up pretty thick and fast. Yeah, there's definitely something going on with that mod, but there's nothing I can do about it for today. That's right, unless of course we get help for signals, which is entirely possible. So it'll be a Class 66 again, which I know it's been said, but it'd be really nice if we could get 1 or 2 more freight locos, but it kind of is the staple freight loco that you see on the vast majority of modern services. Yeah, it's annoying me now seeing all these. I mean, it's lovely to see this livery, but unfortunately we've seen it umpteen times, and that's just a slightly funny mod. I'll have to re-download some of these mods. But this is an interesting place. I think you've got the remains of the old castle on the other side, and then of course he then says, right, I'll say this is an interesting place, and then immediately I show you the garages at the back. But you've kind of got the canal on one side, if we can find it, and then the river on the other side. Yeah, I think that's the remains of the castle. And this is the other side of the line now. Not a place I know massively. Right. Of course, you have to make sure the doors are locked before it won't let you drive off. Is this because I'm basically not in the cab? Oh, we're not up forward, that's why. The AWS must have got off whilst I was looking around. Oh, good evening, Amaze Taze. Yes, the details around it, yeah, lovely. I mean, sometimes, I suspect if you know the area, you'll say, oh, we've not got that garage, or we've not got a particular building here and there, but it's impossible to do everything. But it's a good representation. Yep, good evening, Amaze Taze, and thanks for joining us. And probably a good time just to talk about what's in store. So this is the first run at the 350. We're having a look at the upgrade with the suspension. Got a few odd things going on with the some of the liveries though, because I mustn't have downloaded the very latest mod. So we've had a couple of Pendolinos going past us with a missing carriage, and a couple of repeat liveries as well, but I think we're going to have to bear with that one for today. And then next up it'll be Class 66 with the new HKA wagons, and then after that we're going to do a couple of snow runs, Nottingham to Leicester on the Midland Main Line, and then finally a run the old D-stock tube trains on the Isle of Wight over to Shanklin. Yeah, hope you're well. So where are we? 2.2 miles to Tring, and then I think we're pretty much downhill after Tring. Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think I'm slightly out with the with some of the packs, so I think we're only going to see it in the DB colours. But yeah, it's looking pretty good. It's well worth having that gameplay pack. Just adds a bit of value to it. Yeah, have you worked out any ideas on what route or service you're going to do later on? Trying to keep my eye on getting these this braking a bit organised. I like that AT, I'll have to remember that one. Yeah, we're coming in a bit fast here actually. Might be struggling, but it's a long platform, so I've kind of got high hopes. Yeah, it's a very long platform, we're going to make it easy. There you go, why was I worried? Yeah, I think with all the mods and all the stuff that's available, it's a damn good route. Right, still 1-0 to City. There you go. Well, you can keep us going with the score service. What time did it kick off? Was it 4 o'clock? So is it? I take it it's more or less coming towards the end, is it? Ah, excellent. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, we're going to be. We'll take the HKAs for a spin on the stream shortly when we get to Milton Keynes. But it'll be, as I say, I think it'll be with the one of the older 66 liveries. Well, hello, good evening, Mega Simulator Gamer. I'm certainly fine, and hopefully everybody else is too. And again, thank you for watching once more. And it's a good time just to say it, but hopefully everybody enjoying the stream, and if you are enjoying it and you've not done it before, then please like and subscribe. Quite a few similar names, isn't there? You're not Mega Sim, are you? The YouTube channel, I know that's quite a big one. Yeah, oh, definitely right. I mean, I'll be honest with you. You know, I still pay for the sports channel on Sky, and I mean, I used to spend a lot of my time watching, particularly the sports, but it's just mega expensive. And I mean, yes, when there's a big game on, I sometimes like to watch it, but I don't watch half what I used to do, and half the time the games I really enjoy watching are when the big tournaments are on, which are on BBC and ITV, or the FA Cup, which you can see on terrestrial television as well. Yeah, that's the other thing as well, isn't it? Usually probably find it with virtually every country around the world, and some even without commentary. That's quite an experience as well sometimes, just to listen to the match with just the sound effects from the game itself rather than the commentary. So coming in towards Cheddington now, so we are getting towards the back end of this run to Milton Keynes. I mean, I've got multi-room with ours, and I think with Sky Sports and everything else, I don't have the films. I think it's about £100 a month. It is absolutely ridiculous. I keep saying I'm going to cancel it, I haven't done yet. Yeah, I think we noticed that the league table, and again, it's a rare event where I actually watched a bit of final score yesterday, but are the bottom of the league, Shrewsbury. Doesn't seem like 5 minutes ago since they were nearly beating Liverpool in the FA Cup a few years back. Yeah, I can remember all the excitement when the Premier League first came on, and it was quite something then. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I've got to the point now where you could spend 7 days a week watching football. Yeah, that'd be a shame. And I can remember when the old ground, when it used to be known as the Gay Meadow, I always thought it was a brilliant, brilliant name for a football ground. But it used to be right next to both the river and the football line, didn't it? As you came in, I remember coming in once, having had a day out on the Cambrian coast, and coming in towards Shrewsbury, and you could hear the sound of the crowd. And I think they used to have a fisherman in the river to pick the ball out, didn't they? Yes, and it was kind of exciting at the time because, you know, we suddenly there was a lot more football on the telly, but now it's kind of gone the other way, really. I'm certainly old enough, I think you two are too, to remember the days of the live football being on ITV on a Sunday afternoon, sort of the late 80s, early 90s. Yes, I am indeed. Yeah, I've got the mod installed, but I think I've got the slightly out of date version. So there's a couple of things I could do with upgrading. I am indeed, yes, and we've had a bit more news on that, haven't we? We haven't seen any pictures of the actual route yet, so you kind of think it's going to be quite a while off. But yeah, it's good to see the 153 and I think it's the 152, isn't it, that's going to come out with it. And I mean, it's kind of hard to get your head around it, but there's going to be lots of short runs, and I love the idea of a bit of a network, because I mean, much as though I love this route, and okay, you've got the variety as well with the Watford DC lines, but it's good that you'll be able to do a few bits of different routes. Yeah, I still remember the days. I mean, you know, there was a time when it was unthinkable that cricket wouldn't be on the BBC, and of course they lost it to Channel 4, and then that was the last time it was on terrestrial television, wasn't it? The days of Peter West in years gone by, and Tony Lewis. But I think there was a time when, you know, England playing in a test match was sort of, people were interested, and we've kind of lost that with now that everything's on Sky. Yeah, I hope so. I think there's a bit of a... Oh, is there not one on Xbox at the moment? Yeah. I was going to say, I think there's all sorts of sales going on at the moment, but I'm sure if there isn't one soon, there will be at some point. Well, I'll tell you what, whilst we're here, let's just pop that into neutral. So just spotted, there aren't working lifts on every station, but there is one here.
Doors closing. Footbridge. Doors opening. Lift going down.
There we are. Problem now is I better get back in, otherwise we're going to be abandoned.
Doors opening. Lift going up.
Yeah. Trouble is though, we usually get thrashed comprehensively, don't we, when we play them away. I don't think it's quite just like kind of Ian Both and Bob Willis sort of time the last time we won away, but not far off. Oh, wait a minute, not in forward, am I? Yeah, always used to be such a great great watch, listen on the radio as well, with the, you know, the old days of Henry Blofeld, people like that. Oh, excellent, the Maze Taze. Yeah, he was a very elegant player, wasn't he, David Gower? And, I mean, even now, you know, he still does commentary sometimes on these overseas tours, and just so smooth. Haha, yeah, interesting, Christopher. And I think the thing is, you know, Sky try to portray the idea that, you know, it was all done very, very nicely, and but a lot of the time, it was definitely kind of Sky taking the decision. I remember the days of Ian Botham doing his walks as well for charity when he did John O'Groats to Land's End. I like it. That's quite funny. Oh, crumbs. That's funny. I remember watching him on a documentary a few years back when they were kind of showing like behind the scenes of him doing a bit of commentary, and he was obviously clearly very annoyed at an England wicket, and you know he kind of said so very blatantly and clearly in the commentary, and then he put the microphone down and said something a bit stronger. Yeah, absolutely. And again, you know, really, it was really sad to see. Well, completely shocked at the time to see Shane Warne passing away. That just happened way too soon. And you know, the legend of that, was it 89, wasn't it, when he had that ball that completely bamboozled Mike Gattin, I think it was, wasn't it? Yeah, very much so. Yeah, they were great to listen to. And I think cricket's one of those sports. It's you know, you want to hear, I suppose, all the technical stuff and the stuff of the experts, but because it's on for such a long time, the little chat in between is what makes it worth watching sometimes. Yeah, there we are again. Yeah, I must sort that mod out. I might even actually try getting this mod installed before we move on to the next run, actually. Oh yeah, very much so, yeah. Yeah, I'm sure there's some stories he could tell, and some stories he probably couldn't tell as well. Hi Peter, hello, welcome to the stream. That's a good phrase, isn't it? Segue, I like that. Yes, there is. I know that the Oval is on Train Sim Classic, so I think if you pull into Vauxhall Station from Waterloo, you can see it. It's a fairly basic model of it, to be honest, but it is there, and they've kind of got a representation of the clubhouse. Oh, that is really annoying me now. I might try and just pause briefly in between the next run and try and get the mod installed properly, because it's driving me up the wall. It'll only take a minute. I mean, we're obviously as well, we've got a run later on from Nottingham, but I don't think Trent Bridge is near enough to the ground to be shown. We've got more football grounds, really. I mean, we've got Old Trafford, we've got the football ground properly modelled, but I think Old Trafford Cricket Ground is, again, just slightly too far away. So Bletchley, our penultimate stop. Quite relieved to see a Pendolino with all its carriages on there. Yes, indeed, yeah. Wembley well represented, and you know, we've got rugby stadiums as well with the likes of Murrayfield. Cricket was slightly lacking on. I can only genuinely think of the oval. I mean, I think there's a route around Leeds where I think you go very near to Headingley Cricket Ground, but I don't think it's actually in the game. Oh, thank you very much, Peter. That's really appreciated. Thank you very much, and hope you enjoy the content. And I try and do a live stream every Sunday, and trying to get a few more videos up in between as well. Just sometimes life gets in the way, but that's really appreciated. Thank you. Just past the first anniversary, actually. I started doing videos almost exactly a year ago. I think it's a couple of days past the anniversary. I've been doing the live stream since September, and hope you're enjoying it. And it's really nice to hear from you. Oh, brilliant. Yeah. Oh, that's great. Yeah. Do you enjoy it? I mean, I think probably like myself. I mean, I enjoy driving. I enjoy driving the game, but I enjoy even all the more with driving it and being able to chat to people at the same time. How do you stream on YouTube then? I take it. What's your channel name? I'll have to have a look, and I'll make sure I get subscribed to your channel as well if I haven't done already. Yeah, thank you very much. That's what we try and do, and I think I'm hoping it's kind of like Sunday, early evening Sunday. It's kind of like reasonable time to do it, hopefully. So I think usually, I mean, we've got a single yellow, but I think the signal before Milton Keynes will be an approach control, won't it? Oh, fantastic. What's your favourite kind of trains, and what's your favourite route that's come out for Train Sim World 5 so far? Right, fantastic. I'll look out for that, and I'll have a look out for your streams as well. That's good to know. You're kind of blinded by the sun, aren't you? I mean, this is what it to be a bit like in real life. Try putting some brake on, not the accelerator. Yeah, we've got the feather into the platform. Yeah, Brill. Yeah, absolutely fantastic. And we've said it before, but we kind of hope, you know, we're going to get another bit of the East Coast Main Line at some point. I mean, definitely you kind of want to see King's Cross to Peterborough putting in, don't you? And it'd be lovely to extend it north as well, possibly to Leeds or to York or onto Newcastle. But it's getting to that point. I mean, you know, sort of 2 or 3 years back, Train Sim World was great, but there wasn't masses of content. But with the stuff coming out all the time now, it's absolutely fantastic. There you go. Well done. Amaze Taze. That's good news for Peter. I'll have a look. It'll probably be after the stream, really. Yeah, I think I've only ran a train into the bay platform once, and we haven't got one this time, so we're all right, I think. We're going right down to the end of the platform, incidentally. Well, that was an enjoyable run. I certainly enjoyed that. So I'll do what I usually do. I'll close down the game and then reload it up, but I'll just have a quick look at the mods as well before we move on. There we go, so that's the first journey completed. Hello, Zachary again. Yeah, Brill, probably similar time to me. I mean, I started September just when Train Sim World 5 came out, because it just seemed such a great time with the West Coast Main Line route coming out. It just felt as though it really was showing off something new and dynamic, and well worth doing. But it's very enjoyable. I say it's lovely driving it anyway, but it's even nicer to be able to drive and just chat to people along the way. Takes a bit of getting used to, though, doesn't it, with the you know, a few comments here and there, and just getting everything right. Right, so hang on, let me get this sorted. So we'll put the latest pack in for forks. So apologies for this. Won't take more than a few seconds, he says. I mean, that's one of the great things generally about Train Sim World, is that the mods are so easy to install. Takes you slightly longer when you're trying to talk and do it at the same time, but fairly easy. Content. Train Sim World 5. Hang on. See. So that's the latest timetable in, but I think more importantly we need the latest version of the enhancement pack, which I think I installed anyway, didn't I? Let's have a look. Anyway, just 2 seconds. I think the problem is with some of these enhancements pack. Yeah, it was only updated on the 11th, so I'm slightly out, aren't I? Right, okay. Right. Ah, right. There's a new enhancement pack for the train, so I think that's probably what's the issue. Should have some music on at this point, shouldn't I? Very good question. Yeah, well, I mean, to be honest with you, you know, I don't know. I suppose I wouldn't describe myself as massively outgoing, really, but it's I don't know. Once you start doing it, and it's quite it's quite easy to do. As far as building subs, well, it's still work in progress for me. And you know, it's taken a year to get just over 400 subs, and I think it's really the key thing is you're just trying to do new videos. You're trying to be as varied as possible, and to try and do something interesting. I mean, there's one single video that I did of the Elizabeth line, and we did a bit of a combination of Train Sim World 5 and Train Sim Classic. And I did a run from Paddington to Heathrow, and it's got 28,000 views. But I mean, that's by far the exception. You know, a lot of the videos have had it varied. You know, between a couple of hundred to you know, a 1,000 and a couple of thousand in some way. So it's kind of a question of keeping at it, really. But it's well worth doing, and people say, you know, as long as you're enjoying it, and that's kind of true, certainly to an extent. You know, I'd like it to grow. I mean, some people have, I think, have managed to build their interest a lot quicker, and have built the subscribers a lot quicker, but there's some people that are putting up videos more than once a day, and it's just finding the time. I mean, real things happen, don't they? And you can't spend 24 hours a day streaming. So it's going to take a minute or two yet, but we're just downloading that. I'm just hoping that way that when we do the next run, it'll look a bit better. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm still after ideas as well, and I think it's trying to think of new ideas, and but I think there's certain times as well, and you know, sort of Train Sim World 5 coming out, that was a good time because there's obviously a lot more interest, but it's difficult to be different because, you know, that you could be one of, I would say, 1 million people, but there's thousands, it seems, sometimes, who are putting up videos that are virtually identical. So it's just trying to do something that's of interest. Helps if you're organised as well, I suppose, and you're not trying to install mods whilst you're doing it in the middle of the stream. But we are nearly there. The good news is I know that the good news is that everything else works. Right, here we are. We are done. So right, okay, extract. Yeah, that's fine. Right. And they're all PAK files, so we should be we should be good to go to settings. So copy trade symbol 5 Windows. It's funny sometimes though when you're talking and you're trying to do things at the same time, it's makes it more difficult. So we'll paste those in. Yeah, we'll replace. Oh wow, right, wow, that's a comeback. That was almost like in the Eric Ten Hag days, wasn't it? With suddenly them coming from behind from nowhere. Wow. How long has the turn go in that match, Christopher? I've lost track of when it kicked off, actually. It's getting interesting now. Right, anyway, we're back to the stream. And next up, we're going to look at those HKA wagons that came out only in the week. The brand new gameplay pack. Oh wow! Well, goodness me, there'll be some celebrations. Well, I was going to say in Manchester, but of course, there's Manchester United supporters across the world, isn't there? Yeah, it's strange, isn't it? They were almost unbeatable, and you know, I'm not going to offend anybody who is a right. This should be it now. Right, okay. I'm not going to offend any Manchester City fans, but it's. I'd like to say it makes a change. The fact that they have started to lose a little bit. It's nice to see different things happening. That's all I'll say. Still haven't got that GBRF one, but anyway. So I'm going to do it again. I'm going to go back a month because if you do a sort of a November one, it's kind of okay, right. So it's not that timetable because that's not got the HKAs on. Now we've got the GBRF ones. Excellent. That's better. Quite like the GBRF livery. Yeah, we've got the make sure we have it as custom weather. So we've got Milton Keynes. So we're looking for one for the HKA. And I think I was planning on doing a Bletchley to Wembley. Yeah, that looks fine. Oh dear. Oh dear. This is what trying to do things on the hoof. Right, I mean, anyway, it's not a massive problem because I should be able to put it back to how it was, he says. All right, okay. Who's on at 7 then, Amaze Taze? Let's try one of the original ones because they were certainly working previously. I was looking forward to driving these HKAs as well. Fingers crossed. Oh, right, yes, we're in. Yay. So these are the all-new wagons. They were built as coal wagons originally, but they're now carrying aggregates, and we've got the old, like, fading National Power logo on them. Yeah, so the Bees, that's Brentford, isn't it? I'll tell you what, they've undergone a transformation, haven't they, at the last few years? And you know, I think not too far ago it was almost unthinkable Brentford being in the Premier League. Oh right, okay, right, Spurs, right, okay, the mighty Tottenham, wow, yeah. Right, is that kind of like pessimism due to years of things not quite living up to scratch? I can't remember where the DVD is on this thing. Anyway, it doesn't matter, we'll do it without. We've got the AWS on anyway. The secret is to kind of apply the throttle very slowly to begin with. Make sure we get the brake. We haven't got the brakes fully off. That would help. So we're quite slow out to Bletchley Yard. Yeah, it's a Class 66. Yeah, I mean, I definitely remember the times when Spurs were serial trophy winners. Remember that 1991 FA Cup final. Of course, the very famous Paul Gascoigne winner in the semi-final against Arsenal. There used to be a thing, didn't there, when there was a one ending in the year, then it meant Spurs were going to win the cup. I mean, they have been known to occasionally. There are certainly workings, but they are basically a freight loco. I don't think you get any train heating from them, but they certainly have pulled passenger trains occasionally. Oh, fantastic. Wow. Wow, now that must have been an experience. Yeah. I mean, I did feel a bit on that particular day for Cloughie, and because he was never destined to win the FA Cup, but he won just about everything else. Yeah, and of course the old Chaz and Dave thing when they had our dealers singing. Of course, English wasn't his first language. Well, still isn't, but he could obviously speak it fluently now. But of course, in the song, it was Tottingham, which still makes me smile. Yeah, I'd put the DVD on if I could remember where it is. Now, don't worry, we're not going to be going all the way to Wembley at 5 miles an hour. There, you put the hot plate on. Get those eggs and bacon warmed. Yes. Yeah, it was legendary, that was, wasn't it? Aussie's going to Wembley. What was it? The knees are getting all trembly. I mean, I'm a little bit old school. I mean, much as no, we're all right. I was panicking then for a second. Of course, that red's for the platform track. I'm still a bit old school, and I mean, the FA Cup perhaps isn't what it used to be, but I still love the FA Cup and Cup final day. Yeah, no, I'm the same generally. I must admit, I know about shift and enter, but right, control and enter, yeah. I think some of these older trades as well, you don't know quite where the switches are. Very much so, yeah. Although I do remember the year Stoke were relegated, 83, I think. They set all the records for the worst season in the old First Division then at the time. You know, it was sort of the least wins, the least goal, all that sort of stuff. And I used to go occasionally back then, and then picked it up sort of in the 90s again, and my father and me used to go quite regularly. We were still a League One side then, so it was brilliant watching them go from being League One to Premier League. Yes, indeed. Yeah. He did. Yeah, he did play for Stoke for a while, Mickey Thomas. I always think of Mickey Thomas with that goal he scored for Wrexham against Arsenal to knock them out. And Tony Gubber's commentary was, he's done it, the magic little man, at the venerable age of 37. Brilliant. I didn't know that. I didn't know that. That's an amazing story. Ah, excellent. Yeah. Do you know, it's a struggle keeping track of all these mods, and you know, I keep looking regularly on the Train Sim community website, but keep missing things. So, of course, they were originally on the Great Western route, weren't they? I only bagged the gameplay pack yesterday, and I thought, well, I think it was on a sale for at least $9.99, and so it includes that Christmas pack for the San Bernardino line. So fingers crossed now all the other trains are going to work properly. Oh, fantastic. Yeah, I mean, sometimes when you see a freight train pass you by, you're just amazed at the length of them generally, aren't you? And you know, sometimes some of the container ones, you see them going past with no containers on the back of the train as well, but they just seem to go on and on and on. And I've generally not driven a load of freight trains on the stream. Yeah, definitely. I mean, the one thing that I always regret with this particular PC that I'm using is the fact that the drive that it's on is not an SSD drive, and I believe that's kind of the key for it to be running really well. But there is an SSD drive, the C drive, but it's absolutely tiny. And I did at one point a few years back install Train Sim World on an external SSD drive, but then some of the mods didn't work. I think it didn't really tally with it very well, so that's something I'd like to do for the future. Yeah, it's odd, isn't it? I just about remember in the late 70s and the early 80s, you'd occasionally see one of the old sort of mixed freights going through, and you had a guards van on the back. Yeah, and I can't for the life of me remember whether I've got that TAA pack either. And this is reasonably long. Not totally sure, to be honest. mean, I don't know whether the limit on Train Sim World 5 is because of the, you know, again, just trying to handle the game properly on console. I'll be interested to see if we get looped in any way. Yeah. I mean, you know, I've said it before, but you know, some of the mods that have been created are nothing short of absolutely fantastic, and it's amazing some of the work that has been put in. Yeah, I think it does, and no, we're still not right with them trains, are we? Never mind. I'll have to sort that out in my own time. I mean, this is the last run on the West Coast Main Line, so not too worried about the rest of it. Yeah, I think, you know, the console market is absolutely huge, isn't it? And I don't know what the percentage is between PC purchasers and console purchasers, but I know they definitely trying the best to make the game as playable as possible on the consoles. I think we are getting to the stage. I mean, I know little about it, but I think we are going to the stage where, you know, some of the older consoles, they just can't produce the content. I think they're right to kind of limit what they can do, and it's better that than I've seen plenty of people talking on the forums about, you know, not being able to drive into Euston and stuff like that. Yeah, fantastic. You used to see pictures from the 80s, I think, wasn't it? Those old steel trains around the big steel plants in South Wales. And I think it's kind of like a balance, isn't it? I mean, if you're a PC user and, you know, you've got a PC that can handle the game, then you kind of want the best you can. And I think, you know, if we kind of get newer stuff coming out and your PC can't handle it, then you know, sort of money permitting, you want to try and improve your PC to make it work. And you are a bit limited with that on consoles, I think. Incidentally, I've got a suspicion I forgot to change from. I think we've got dynamic weather switched on, so there is a chance, despite how sunny it looks, we might end up raining by the time we get to Wembley. Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, a few weeks ago, when I had the problems with mine, I very nearly, I was minutes away from hitting the a few buttons to actually look into buying one but I've managed to get it going. So I would like to, because I don't run it on ultimate settings, you know, sort of 4K and all that sort of stuff, but it might be a year or two down the line. Yeah, definitely right. Yeah, I think that's that works well. I mean, I guess, you know, if you're a console user, again, you want to see all the layers where, but you know, at the end of the day, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. So that's kind of the way it is. I mean, for many years, you know, with Train Sim Classic, it was just and Microsoft Train Sim before that as well, it was just Train Sim PC game only. Yeah, fantastic. Do you build them yourself, the Maze Tays, or do you kind of buy one off the shelf? I mean, I've kind of just delved into the world of, you know, I put me 64 gig of RAM in the system, and that was kind of the first time I've really opened the box properly. But it's pretty straightforward. I kind of thought, well, if I can do it, anybody can do it. Or is that where we're heading for, by the way, that 25 miles? Yeah. Oh, fantastic. Yeah, no, that's great. My mum actually built my first PC, the late, well, I think it was 1999 as I recall, and she kind of, you know, she hadn't got a lifetime's knowledge of computers by any stretch of the imagination, but she just had an inquiry mind, and she learned how to do these things. Yeah, I think there's some very, very expensive PCs out there. But I do think, you know, obviously you can't do it every year, but it's worth upgrading them, because you know you have, you know, it's lovely to have nice holidays and this, that, and the other, but tremendous value out of the PC. Yeah, very much so. Yeah, very much so. I say, when you delve in the box, it's not that complicated, I don't think. Ah, this is where the weather's turning, I think. I think it's probably the first time I've done dynamic weather on the stream, and I kind of did it accidentally, but we might see a bit of rain shortly. Oh, definitely agree with that. I don't think you regret it. I mean, I think when you compare, like, sort of train simulator to you know, model railways. I mean, yes, there's a lot of DLC that comes out regularly. But it's not like, as I say, the prices for model railways are ridiculous. Plus they break down all the time as well. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's the thing. I think it doesn't have to be a top-notch. Yeah, well, who knows if I get the numbers up and I get over a certain amount of subscribers, we might get some adverts on the stream occasionally. Yeah, somehow I don't think there'd be a massive amount of demand for that. People would pay it, of course, then that would be fine, but ah, that's funny. Excellent. I like it. Yeah, definitely right. I think the thing is, because you're both such regulars, that I think if we get to the point where we need a mod, you know, moderators, then I know who I'll be. I could be coming to potentially. Yeah, I have to say I love the these new wagons. Yeah, I think so. That's the hope, and I must admit, you know, I've got tremendous enjoyment out of doing them. Really have enjoyed them, and you know, I was kind of thinking from, you know, sort of week one, is there going to be anybody watching? Am I going to be talking to myself? But it's been great to. I hope he isn't missing carriage in the 350 again. But yeah, tremendously enjoy doing it. And I think what's better than you know, playing a game that there is interest in. There's plenty of train fans out there. Right. Yeah, absolutely. I think that's the other thing though as well, Christopher. It's kind of, I think it's, you know, sometimes I think it's brilliant to actually occasionally wander away from train sim, and we always do wander back towards it eventually, but it certainly keeps these runs going. Oh, that's fantastic to hear. Yeah. is, and that's amazing to hear. Thank you. Yeah, I've not heard about those military wagons. That's something I've missed in all the news. I knew we were going to get some adverse weather, so sadly it's one of those windscreen wipers that we're going to be hearing constantly. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, so I think next Sunday got Bullseye to look forward to. I'm sure when they did Bullseye a couple of years back as some sort of special, I'm sure they changed the ending to it. I was absolutely distraught. You know, you have to end it with just one contestant left, or, well, they worked in pairs, didn't they? But 101 and 6 starts. But I'm sure they messed around with it slightly. Oh yeah, definitely, definitely. I mean, I remember doing runs on the Bakerloo line, and you knew that without fail, when you set off from Elephant and Castle, that by the time you got to Queen's Park, it would be chucking it down with rain, and we'd have a thunderstorm. I mean, I'd love it if they could actually do it alongside the real weather. It'd be good if it could. You know, I'm not totally sure. I think it looks a bit like snowflakes, doesn't it? I would say, and it hasn't kind of wetted the ground yet, or it's not started to stick. Oh, that's sad to hear. Yeah. Oh, there we go. Yeah, yeah. Snow is beginning to stick here. Yeah. We will see it a little bit better. I mean, again, I've got a mod to. It should improve the snowflakes a little bit, because it looks pretty good when we start off with snow. But yeah, that's true. I mean, actually, you know, I could still do that, couldn't I? I've got my God mode. I'm just thinking to get rid of the noise of the windscreen wipers more than anything. Right, but we haven't switched them off then. Yeah, I do normally. I really do. I don't normally go in for dynamic weather. I mean, I'm planning on the next couple of runs just to give us a Christmas feel. I'll set it in snow for the HST and the Isle of Wight run a bit later on. Yeah, pretty much. Oh, crumbs. I mean, this is this God mode thing here, so these are the settings, so, you know, you can, I mean, you could actually get rid of the ground snow. Or you can make it full snow. almost makes it feel like the magic of television. Yes, indeed. Well, what I'm kind of hoping to do actually with Christmas, that's time permitting, but I'm hoping to put some shorter videos up, and you know, found there's one or two good scenarios available on the Train Sim community website, and I'm hoping to get some uploaded and get those done. And I'm hoping, again, time permitting, I'd like to do just a bit of a kind of a briefish review of the Train Sim year as well, with Train Sim World 5, Train Sim Classic. I must admit, I do like the fact that it gives you the 60-mile-an-hour speed limit, because it emphasises the point that we can't go at 75, whereas I think I'd be trying to push the boat out a bit with the speed. I'll tell you what though, I've said it before as well, these this period of doing these streams, it's kind of the quickest part of the day. It goes amazingly quick. I mean, already we're 2 hours 13 minutes into it as well. Oh yeah, absolutely. I've seen quite a few people doing those streams, and you have to know everything inside out. I mean, I suppose, I don't know, I've perhaps been a bit too lazy in that respect. But you know, sometimes with these West Coast Main Line, you've got to kind of remember, beyond Watford Junction, there are only so many points at which the speed limit goes down. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much. And yeah, it's good to be amongst friends. It's brilliant. Yeah, very much so. It was a bit more of a panic last week because of being kind of out on the Saturday and then not getting back till Sunday morning, and you know, kind of got make sure as much as I can that things are installed and things work, and it's a little bit difficult to do it on the hoof. But yeah, it's great. And I won't lie, it's great driving all these trains as well. I mean, I'd love to be able to do it in real life, but sadly that's never been an option. But it's the next best thing, and you know, sometimes you can be sat here actually driving them, and you can almost convince yourself that you're actually there, and you know, it's not that much different than real life. Oh, thank you again for such lovely, kind comments. But I mean, I've not driven, you know, masses of freight. I mean, there's plenty of freight stuff on the Preston Carlisle route as well, and I must give that a go with the Class 87. Haha, yeah, absolutely. Haha, yeah, very much so. Yes, indeed. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Well, yeah, but it's, you know, it's great all round, really. You know, some lovely comments from all of you, and yeah, no problem at all. I'll say I absolutely love doing it. I think it's just a great period, really, for train sim, and you know, sort of train sim classics still going, well, exactly say strong, but there's still stuff coming out. I'm guessing we should hear some news about the Alan Thompson Manchester commuter route in the week, but you kind of think, you know, you would have thought it could be coming out January, February at the very latest. Yeah, well, I did do one. I can't remember when it was now, but I've done one run with the 350 out of Euston to Milton Keynes at night, but I haven't done too many at night. I mean, that would be a good one when the there's a Watford DC line service. That would be great when the North London line comes out, Watford Junction to. Watford Junction, Stratford to Wilson Junction. Yeah, absolutely right. Yeah, that would be fantastic. That would be great. That would be good. Yeah, it certainly is, and actually I did put up, and again, not touting for videos, but I did put up in the week my Goblin finally put up the bonfire night video, and you know, don't be mistaken by the thumbnail, because I used the thumbnail on the stream that didn't work, but that was at night, and finally got to see some fireworks. Yeah, I've done it a couple of times. That's Gospel Oak to Barking Riverside. Now then, we've got to be a bit careful here, because we've got some a double yellow signal, so must be a touch careful. It is. I mean, it's only short, but it's a fabulous. Fabulous drive. I say, have a look at the bonfire night one I did in the week. And that actually has a representation of some fireworks on it as well. But all the stations, you know, the hell of a lot of detail went in to make them all looking yeah, I think I mean, most of the live streams mainly have been in the daytime, and I can't remember the one where I did a Euston Milton Keynes one at the end of one of the streams, but it's a few weeks back now. That was at night, and as I say, the one that I did in the week, that's not under the live tab, that's just under the general content. And you kind of get that lovely crisp autumnal feel as you're going along as well. Ah, Brill, yeah, thank you very much. Hang on. You kind of forget with this, you have to hold on to the brakes to release it. Yeah, it was quite a clever idea. I mean, it came out with the pack originally. I mean, it was released about Easter time, but it was good that they put a bonfire night scenario in there. We're even talking to a policeman on the station at one point because of there was a little bit of aggro on the train. Not that we really talked to him, but you click on the buttons to, it shows you what he said. Right, we're okay, aren't we? We're on green now, so. I think having gone so far from Bletchley, it'd be an awful shame to not complete the run to. I think it's Wembley-ish where we're going to. But yeah, the North London line, which has been done by, his name's Incredible Trains, looks to be interesting. That'll incorporate the 378 as well, which is from the London Overground. Kind of you see more 378s around on the Overground than anything else. Too far away from the end of this run, so this is clearly Harrow and Wealdstone because that's in the turn-back sidings. Good that we've got the proper clock tower there now. That was in the mod. I don't know if that's in the DTG mod or not. I don't think it was it? Because it wasn't included on the original release of the game. I must admit, if I find a freight run where we get constantly put into loops and all stuff like that with the 66, then it's going to worry me a bit. It takes a bit of getting used to. It'd be worth trying the 87 on the containers on West Coast Main Line over Shap at some point. If you do that in the snow, I would imagine that's a challenge in R. But I mean, it's something like I think some of them are like over 2 hours. It's a little bit on the long side, really, for the streams. For one kind of run for one freight service, I think. We're less than 3 miles away from the end of this run. I mean, it'd be quite nice as well when this North London line comes out, because you'll be able to kind of carry on the journey and take it through to Stratford. Well, The thing is, most of the buttons are fairly similar, and I've driven most of them already, so you kind of just remember them really. I mean, the 87 that I drove on the Preston Carlisle one, when was that now? That wasn't last week, was it? 2 weeks ago now? How the time passes. Or was it last? Do you know, I can't remember. That took some driving because of the tap changing, but even then, because I've driven it before on Train Sim Classic, then I've got used to the controls, and you do learn them fairly easily, and mostly it's the same thing for most of the time. I mean, I do have a power brake controller as well, but I've tended not to plug those in for these live streams because I'm conscious of having all these leads plugged in for USBs, and then it's just an added complication. But that's quite immersive as well, because you've kind of got the throttle lever that you can actually move about, and that's quite good. I must have another go at doing that. Anybody think those children in need liveried ones? There was like 10 of them painted in those colours rather than just one unit. And I mean, I've said before, but generally, as a rule of thumb, it's Train Sim World isn't that complicated in terms of what to install, and there are mods, and they occasionally break things like we had a brief example of earlier on, but in the main it tends to be less problematic, whereas Train Sim Classic's a whole different ball game. Right, so we're only 1.3 miles away anyway. So past the next station, but we've got to keep an eye on that signal. Oh yeah, definitely, and probably one of the best things I've ever purchased, really. And you really do feel sometimes like you're driving a train. From what's his name, TS Controllers, and it was kind of, when they first came out, there was a kind of a bum fight to get your hands on them, because he was producing so many of them, they were going out of stock immediately. No, they're not stupid questions at all. I think it's actually it's kind of great, and I think, you know, clearly I can see the interest there, and I think it just adds to the interest. I think that's great to have some general questions, because sometimes you can get a bit tied up with explaining things, and people don't know what you're on about because you kind of think it's obvious. So I think it adds to the chat tremendously. I mean, I remember hearing a story about Clive Tilsley when he was learning to commentate, and in some of his early days, he said Reg Gutteridge, the old boxing commentator, used to after he'd retired, used to ring him up the following day with his critique and say, you could have done better there, or, you know, this is what you should have done. And I think his argument was that you shouldn't be commentating to the expert, you should be commentating to, you know, your gran who's sitting in the corner. Because that's your audience, and you've got to try and include all of the audience. I love the sounds as he's getting over the points. We should hopefully camera in the right position. You can just about see it in the background, can't you, Wembley? Meanwhile, I've gone too fast. I should be 10 miles an hour on this point. Yeah, I think that's that's the thing. I mean, again, you know, I've obviously got an interest. I've got a level of there are some things that, you know, I just couldn't describe. And I think that's kind of one of my hopes for the channel, really, because there are so many train simulator streams, and it's kind of trying to bring other people in. I think there's been, I think a lot of the subscribers are, you know, newish people. You know, I mean, there's lots that are very experienced, but there's, yeah, absolutely. Quite tricky with this thing. Just, I mean, we're just slightly going over the speed limit, but you know, you drop too far and you're gonna drop down to nothing. But we're not too far off the end of the run. Well, that works as well sometimes. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Blown away by, you know, some of the comments. It's been lovely over the last 12 months. All started with doing the very first video was London Euston, and obviously that was Train Sim Classic, to Holyhead. I went as far as Crewe in the first video, and then did the second one, the run from Crewe to Holyhead, although I think it was about 3 months later when I did part 2, so it must have been the longest tea break in history. Oh, very much so, and kind of that's, I think that's the perennial excitement about, you know, being on a train in real life as well. You know, the views, and I always say sometimes it's not actually necessarily when you're by the seaside or you've got these absolutely stunning views. Sometimes it's just, oh, it's insisting on I get a bit closer to the 12 yards, I think. Sometimes these urban landscapes I find just as fascinating. I presume it wants me to go. We obviously can't go through the, there we are, we're complete. So, oh, it didn't even wait for me to put the brakes on. And I think obviously, you know, sort of Train Sim World 5 is, you know, a lot superior to Train Sim Classic, although there are some, you know, some decent Train Sim Classic routes as well, and again there's been some great detail put into them. So I'll do the usual thing, I'll just restart it, and then we'll move on. Actually, that's what we're driving next, the HST, so we'll do a run from Nottingham to Leicester on the Midland Main Line. Yeah, oh yeah, definitely. And I mean, this time of the year, you notice it as well. I mean, sometimes it hasn't even been the raw. I mean, yes, the roaring coal fire is lovely, but I can remember some lovely warm heaters at places like Stafford and Birmingham New Street, and they were, you know, nothing to shout home about, but they certainly kept you warm. Yeah, I think they're mainly like that, aren't they, nowadays, fortunately. If you go on, perhaps, the trouble is, a lot of the old stations, you'll find, you know, apart from in and around London sometimes, but the old kind of waiting rooms and everything is all completely closed off. But, you know, you think of these old films, with the station master welcoming you. Right, so what we're going to do this time, we're going to have snow, and we're going to have it snowing, so this will be snow throughout, and luckily I think the HSD sounds aren't too bad on that. So we'll do, what shall we do? We'll do an afternoon one, Nottingham. Yeah, oh, there's some fabulous ones, and, you know, I mean, you've got things like the Severn Valley and the North Yorkshire. There's a lot of shorter ones as well. And it's lovely driving on the old trains. And also, it's absolutely fantastic when you hear the old clickety-clack if you go over the old points. Right, so we definitely need the windscreen wipers for this. It's a snowy old day in Nottingham. And you should see there's a bit of snow's built up on the front of the train as well. So let's get this set up. Let's get that windscreen wiper going. The trouble is, I think this is the one-speed windscreen wiper. Yes, I have indeed. Yeah, yes. Of course, it was all with the old "Are You Being Served" crew, wasn't it? And partly them and Heidi High, a bit of a combination, wasn't it? But yes, I have. We've got, yeah, I think we'll have headland markers on this one. So again, we are going to get a bit of wheel slip because of the amount of snow that's on the ground. I tell you what, I was watching a fantastic YouTube video. Oh, excellent. Yeah, I think I sometimes think that neck of the woods, and I mean there's one or two railways in and around Kent, and I think it's sometimes a bit underrated actually, Kent, but it's. I mean, some of them are quite short. I don't know if it's that one that you can actually see the tracks for on Train Sim Classic on, you know, on the Chatham Main Line route. So we're going to be stopping at East Midlands Parkway and then Leicester. It's only about half an hour's run. Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, 25 mile an hour is feels damnably slow. It really does. And I've been telling myself for years I'd love to go on, I mean, some of these rail tours, there's some lovely ones, and they can be a bit on the pricey side. But you know, I'd love to have a go, particularly where you get kind of these luxury 3-course dinners. Yeah, which is, you know, it's pretty decent, isn't it? About 11 miles. And sometimes as well, and you know, I've done quite a few days on like these diesel gala days, like on the East Lancs Railway, for example, and I mean they are really good because you know it's lovely getting on the old steam trains, but sometimes it's actually good to experience the old diesels that you used to see around in the 70s and the 80s. Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, please, yeah, go ahead. The branch that I think that goes off towards Derby, doesn't it? There we've got sort of Derby, Spondon, Long Eaton, Attenborough, Beeston, Nottingham. Yeah, that would be amazing. I mean, I love the throwback to it, and obviously the HSTs were never actually like that, but you've seen those old sets. I mean, it was not massively successful, but I think it's a fantastic representation of the livery. Yeah, oh, you can't go wrong with the Severn Valley Railway. I mean, it is one of the premier ones in the country. Yeah, well, that's right. That's what I thought. Well, we are getting towards Christmas, so thought let's do a bit of snow, and we'll do that with the Isle of Wight run as well when we get to the Leicester. We do have on the game, and again, I don't think I've got it installed at the moment, but we have the West Somerset Railway, which I don't know if it still is. It used to be the longest heritage railway in the country, and that's a fab ride. But again, it's kind of with Train Sim World, it's a bit frustrating that you are restricted on doing 25 mile an hour, and I did a run on the class 33 with it, and I said at the start, it's like, you know, am I going to be bored by the end of the journey? But it does hold your interest because you know, you've got bits where you go by the seaside, and it is interesting. Sure why we got the AWS ping there, because we haven't got an upcoming reduced speed. Yeah, well, I think the thing with that is I think the Welsh Highland is like narrow gauge, so I think probably, mind you, I've got a feeling you know, records changed, but I think probably the West Somerset's the longest kind of full size route. Now I better not yeah, there's some lovely routes in and around Kent as well, and I think it's one of those places that often gets overlooked. I mean, you know, Sussex is a beautiful county, but I think Kent's nice. I'll have to make sure I get these brakes on reasonably early, because we don't want to be sliding our way into East Midlands Parkway. We will see Radcliffe on Soar power station as well. Yeah, absolutely, yeah. And it's a good old run. You know, you start off at Minehead, but then you go around past the seaside at Blue Anchor. I mean, it's sometimes nice on a heritage railway if you can get an old DMU, because you get a cab view. But there are many lovely heritage lines, you know, big and small, really. You know, I feel slightly hypnotised watching the wipers as they go across so slowly. So I think I'm being a bit cautious with these brakes, but I kind of feel as though you've got to do it. Yeah, absolutely. I've done that myself. I love those camera views, and I found myself watching some National Railway ones as well. I mean, you know, you have to pay for them, don't you, nowadays? But the old one that was at Crewe used to be brilliant. But you know, I've watched them at Crewe, York, and you know, you get YouTubers as well setting up camera along these places sometimes as well. Yeah, I think they're great, those cameras. Even found myself watching the one at Epping, where I think it's the Central Line, isn't it? And you know, you only really see them coming in and out and then departing from the station, but it's quite entertaining. Yeah, I think, I mean, I'm no expert on it, but I've got a feeling like you kind of, most of them are free, but then if you want the kind of the special view, you know, the best view of the station, I've got a feeling you have to pay some sort of subscription, don't you? So we're going to be slightly late into East Midlands Parkway, but I think that's sensible given the weather. Oh, I didn't need to press into emergency. I mean, I haven't played it for a while as well, but there's a website as well where they basically do the live departures. So you know, if you kind of get that alongside a station, you're listening to the you know, it's not Anne Jeremy that you hear at the stations, but you do get to hear a representation of the announcement as well at the same time. So, of course, lurking behind is Radcliffe-on-Soar power station in all its glory, which I think is no longer an active power station now. I think it was this year when it stopped being used, so cooling towers no doubt will be coming down over the next couple of years. One of the slight irritations of Trainsim World, the way the camera lurches about sometimes. Oh yeah, definitely right. Yeah. I mean, some of the heritage lines, you know, essentially not far off died a death during COVID. It was quite a difficult time for them. There's so many people that put in so much work at places like the Severn Valley Railway. I mean, it really is. Again, it's, you know, it's kind of like the premier one, because every station's got a load of character to it. Yes, oh yeah, absolutely. And I've heard, when I've been to air shows, I think it's kind of illegal, but people know that the streams, and it might be, I don't know, it might be okay picking it up at air shows, but I think the airports one is kind of illegal. Yeah, I actually, I was at Bridgnorth once on the Severn Valley Railway a few years back now, and I was walking back down towards my car at the, he walked straight past me, but yeah, that was the closest I got to Pete Waterman. Yeah, I'm being a bit over enthusiastic with this throttle. We need to kind of do it slowly, because otherwise we've got a bit of wheel slip going on. Wow. Oh well, brilliant. Yeah, that reminds me of being at Wembley with my father, and when Stoke won the FA Cup semi-final against Bolton, and we kind of scored the 5th goal. I said to my father, I think we should be all right now. I think even Stoke should hang on to that lead. Oh, fantastic! Wow, yeah. It was I've seen the videos. Well, there was a TV documentary, wasn't there, where he did the one on the West Coast Main Line actually, and I know they showcased it at Chester, I think it was. I think Trains, I mean, you know, he obviously he's well known for what he's done in the pop industry, but I think Trains is his absolute passion, and you know, he spent his lifetime on it, hasn't he? And put a lot of money into it, to be fair, as well. He's put his money where his mouth is. I suppose it must be quite difficult sometimes. It's kind of like, oh, he is, you know, you were Pete Waterman sort of thing. Yeah, that looked fantastic, and you know, it's good to see, you know, sort of new trains and old trains alike. Yeah, well, that's another fact actually. I didn't realise. I think he was in that programme, wasn't he? But I didn't realise that Jules Holland was in any way interested in trains. Yeah, well, yeah, you can imagine. Maybe he's mellowed over the years. I mean, I must admit, you know, we talk about guilty pleasures and all that, but I like a lot of the Kylie Minogue stuff that she's done, you know, in recent time. But some of that Stock Aitken Waterman stuff was pretty naff, really. But yeah, I think if you ask probably most people, a lot of people in the country, who's the most famous, you know, sort of rail enthusiast, I think you'd probably say Stock Aitken Waterman. You'd say Pete Waterman. Oh, I can imagine. Wow. Oh, that sounds amazing, actually. Yeah, well, yeah, absolutely right. Yeah. Do I presume, is it one of those layouts where you kind of got like a fiddle yard going on sort of thing, and you're like sort of doing a lot of shunting and getting movements like that? Oh crikey, yeah. Well, I can understand that. Yeah, absolutely. And I think she's looking good for her age now, to be honest. Certainly aged better than me. Kylie. Oh, fantastic, yeah. That's kind of best of both worlds, isn't it? Because, you know, you've got all those interesting movements, but you've also got kind of trains doing you know, that you're constantly seeing as well. Well. Yeah, she was famous, wasn't she? What was her name? Helen Worth, isn't it? I mean, I used to, you know, many years ago, I watched Coronation Street fanatically, but I haven't watched it pretty much since they had that tram crash around about 2000, actually. Yeah, she's not in it anymore, is she? And I never did find out whether she died or what they did to her in the end. I'll tell you what, from what I do remember though, they put her through some palavers in that programme over the years. I love it. Oh, it's fantastic. Yeah, I do remember, I mean, he hadn't been in it for years, as the old Marty Platt, there was a line who said something like, you know, she's not called Gail for nothing. Oh. Turn me gauge lighting on. I mean, another time we'll have to do the Derby Nottingham bit as well, because that's all on there, and Pride Park's in the game as well, and all the research and development around Derby. I think I did do, I mean, it's a while back now, isn't it, but I did do Sheffield. Did I do Sheffield Leicester, I think, on Trade Sim Classic? Yeah, definitely right. Yeah, it's lovely, isn't it? Absolutely lovely. Yes, indeed. Yeah. I certainly do. And again, can't remember for the life of me if I've definitely got it installed at the moment, but I do love that run actually out of St Pancras and then through the HS1 tunnels, and it's good the fact that now you could do the you can go through to Ashford and do high speed all the way to Ashford, or you can do the Faversham runs. And I mean, I did actually, and again, I'm kind of touting my own videos now, but I did a video a while back. It wasn't that popular actually, but I did a St Pancras to Ramsgate, and it's a full run. So we do St Pancras to Faversham on Trade Sim World, and then Faversham through to Ramsgate via Margate, the Jolly Boys housing and all that, in Trade Sim Classic. And I have to say, I mean, the bit between St Pancras and Faversham, I mean, I hadn't played much on the original Trade Sim Classic version on it, but since at the Trade Sim World, it's great. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's another one that, again, brilliant work done on it. I mean, I think, you know, we've said before, haven't we? But, you know, Dovetail Games will always, you know, I think they'll always do a pretty decent job, and they'll bring it up to a certain standard, but you're always going to see it improved from the point of view of these mods coming out. And you know, the southeastern part of it's pretty decent as well. Southeastern part, I mean the kind of the EMU section of it, and again it's good the fact that we've got that lovely route from what's his name, Nicholas, on the workshop, and you can go into Cannon Street and Charing Cross. I would love to have Charing Cross in the game, and that kind of bit along the Thames just out of across, what's it called, Hungerford Bridge, I think, we'll massively speed in here for the 90. The thing that amazed me about that Steam Workshop route from Nicholas is that he's not even from this country. I don't think he's ever actually been on the routes in real life. Not far off from Leicester now. Actually went down to London last weekend with me mate on the Saturday, and he lives in Leicester, and but there was engineering works going on, I think, from Bedford, so we ended up going Leicester to Nuneaton and then Nuneaton to Euston. Interesting experience because of the weather on that day. But I've done the run down, you know, it's only an hour or so down from Leicester to St Pancras on the fast trains. But yeah, I do quite like, as well as driving the 395, I do quite like driving the 465 as well. Again, kind of one of the, you know, sort of the modern BREL, you know, British Rail Engineering units. But I have actually observed in real life that they do tend to come into the platforms at St Pancras quite slowly. And again, I think because, well, we'll have to put a bit of throttle on because we're going to grind to a halt before we get to the end of the platform. That should do us. Enjoyed that. You've got the big freight yard behind as well. Is it Lip or something? I always forget what it's called. But yeah, that was a nice run. Enjoyed that. So we've got one last run, and it's a quickish run up the Isle of Wight line. I mean, sometimes I might be being a bit overcautious by rebooting every time, but it's just trying to make sure. Right, so for the last time, yeah, I haven't got the Southeastern installed at the moment, but I must get that back in. Right, so we'll need the Isle of Wight, so not the old one, we'll do the 484 one now. which I think is infinitely better. Now we... Yeah, we've got two. I think we've got two that are basically accurate, but I don't know which is kind of better than the other. Again, we're going to get a bit of snow. Put the clouds up. I mean, I might have been a bit unrealistic with the last one, not putting the clouds up really. There we go. So we'll go from Ride Pierhead to Shankly. So this is with the D stock, and again, let's get things switched on. I mean, I think basically, I don't think there is much by way of DSD, AWS really. Again, it's looking a bit murky, but it's a beautiful route. Ah, right, okay. Right. Has that been present for a while? Let's just try. The last time was when I kind of felt as though yeah, it sounds like it. The last time I think it was something to do with the microphone. So let's just try. No one gone. Let's see if that's any better. Ah, okay. That's strange. Oh, it might be perhaps it's the sound. It might be the snow around here about the pier head, hopefully. I'm hoping when we get to the station at the other end. Now I'll tell you what we might do. Right, I think it was it was perhaps on the roof. Tell you what, let's try and do that, because it'd be nice to actually see the route, wouldn't it? Ah, brilliant! Yeah, no, that's fantastic. So actually, I think we've still got the snow, and the windscreen wipers are off as well. So I mean, this was Rivet Games, and I think sometimes the sounds are a bit loud on it, but it's for all that, I enjoy it. Again, there's a lot of fuss about the licensing with this because they didn't have the proper license for South Western Railways, but it does. Yeah, absolutely. I think it's quite a clever idea, really, because it doesn't look completely out of place, I don't think, around about Ealing Broadway. And again, it's great to see old stock being reused. It does look decent. You can kind of hear the wind howling here. Just tiny little tunnels. Again, I must say that, I mean, the sounds were so awful with the original 1938 stock thing that they brought it out with. I just couldn't get on with it, but I quite enjoyed driving this. Yeah, I think there's plenty. I mean, really, there's so much more they could do with Great Western. You know, you used to have the thing with the old, when Train Sim Classic first came out, we could do a run to Oxford, couldn't we, back in the day? I mean, you still can, but it's kind of showing its age now. So again, thanks for everybody for watching tonight, and if you're watching it back, it doesn't matter whether it's live or you're watching it back, then if you wouldn't mind liking and subscribing to the channel, then I'd be absolutely massively grateful. Thank you very much, and thanks again for all the interest and views over the last 12 months, and here's to the next 12 months. Feels like incredibly slow, this 20 mile an hour bit. I did put together a screenshot of this line to begin with for the thumbnail, but I thought it just looks too short somehow. We're going to be a bit farther up the platform, but we'll live with that. Very much remember these units when they were part of the district line with the single doors. But yeah, this is one of those routes where I kind of felt the original route wasn't very good at all, but I think this redone route with the 484 is a great bit of fun. Grading is next. I mean, this is a route in real life I'd love to go on sometime to experience. Yeah, we're not all 20 mile an hour, incidentally. We'll be going up to 45 in a sec. And when you're only 2 cars, but yeah, I'm very much looking forward to the Great Western remaster coming out. Breathe some life into an old route. Some of these platforms are quite short as well. Yeah, I reckon so. Be interesting to know in terms of this coming week. You know, are we going to get any dates on stuff? I mean, I think it's probably too much to expect anything's going to be released now before Christmas, but it'd be good if we could have a few dates or ideas of things that are coming out. Oh, hang on. No, we're not stopping here, are we? This is the where the stop off for the steam train. I mean, also, you know, what's this big announcement on the 20th, which is Friday, isn't it? It's like, you know, they kind of built it up to be, it's going to be a massive announcement on the 20th. Let's hope it lives up to the billing. We started off with the Midland Main Line. Just seems daft to need 2-car units somehow. Yeah, plenty to come. There's Manchester commuter route, we've got that coming out. There's Welsh Valleys routes, the Midland Main Line, the Amsterdam thing as well. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean that would kind of live up to the billing, wouldn't it? You know, and say, look, we're gonna bring that out, and to go alongside the Azuma, we'll have the Class 91. Because, you know, I've had some decent runs between Peterborough and Doncaster, but it's kind of a little bit on the boring side. And again, you know, it's kind of like adding a load of things together, but you kind of think, well, we've already got the Thameslink 700, so it wouldn't make a massive amount of work to bring that out to work alongside it as well. So you've kind of got most of the regular trains, and you just need the 91 to go with it, really. Yeah, definitely. Definitely right. And, you know, it's sort of, it is interesting. I mean, I kind of And again, I'm a little bit perhaps guilty of, you know, people saying these forums like, it's like, yeah, well, if they do that route, then they must do this as well. And, you know, it'd be lovely to have the... it'd be lovely to have, like, the line from Moorgate as well. You know, I'm not saying do the Hertford loop and do it up to Hertford itself, but, you know, if we could do Moorgate to Welwyn Garden City, that would be brilliant. And again, it's a bit like the West Coast Main Line. It's one route that you'll keep going back to time and time and time again. I mean, people have probably loved to see the Deltic as well, and you know, even if it was set in the modern day and you've kind of got a Deltic for rail tour workings, I'd be more than happy with that. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. You know, I would love that. And you know, old or new, you know, I'd be happy if it was a kind of a flirt and an adventure to go with it. But I'd be even more excited if it was, you know, a 90 or an 86, or yeah, that would be absolutely amazing. I know Matt Pendleton said himself that he'd love to do the Great Eastern Main Line. I think he said there was kind of an issue over licensing, but again, that would... wait a minute, we were a bit too premature there, weren't we, shutting the doors? But again, it's kind of interesting, the Great Eastern Main Line, and a lot of the stations up to Shenfield have got a lot of character about them. yeah, absolutely. Yeah, can't be no coincidence, and you know, he is the what's he called, the executive producer. So I presume he's kind of got the ultimate casting vote. Yeah, you almost get the impression, don't you, that they've kind of given up on Steam, and for whatever reason they can't quite get it to work properly, and they've kind of said, look, we'll ignore it for the time being. Find an outside view, wait and see something, that's it. But yeah, I'd be absolutely chuffed and thrilled if that came out. I mean, I've heard suggestions, but I don't know, it doesn't seem to be any anything concrete about it, about the Shoeburyness line as well from Fenchurch Street. And again, old or new, I'd take that. Yeah, absolutely, yeah. And I can kind of understand that. Because, I mean, I am interested in Steam because it's the heritage But I'm also, you know, I'm sort of same as you really, I guess. But you're at the age where, well, I never actually saw Steam in active service, unlike Duncan, incidentally. I don't know if he's still around, but oh yeah, oh that'd be my sort of route. I'd love a 305. I'd love to see a 310 or well, I think there were 312s on the Great Eastern Main Line. And I've probably said before, but that route from Making Tracks all those years ago, where they did Great Eastern, it was the biggest bargain that's ever been done, because it had absolutely everything on, you know, all sorts of diesel, electric, all the MUs. It was an amazing bargain and great fun to drive. I can remember playing that one Christmas morning and waiting for the Christmas lunch and a little bit too slow for the 15 there. Well, that was a fabulous group. I don't know what happened to the team that worked for Making Tracks, but they were dedicated. It felt as though they were like so much enthusiastic, you know, they were so much enthusiast that it was kind of producing a DLC that actually made money for them seemed to be secondary interest. So there we go, we made it to Shanklin, and thank you very much again, the Maze Taste, the keeping me company. Yeah, oh I know, yeah. Well, I'm the same with Birmingham New Street from the 80s and see the old diesels, and I love the smell of the old diesel locos. It was a sight to behold. Yeah, I've seen all the I mean, they weren't the most powerful of trains, the 37s, but they certainly did a job on the Great Eastern before it was electrified. Well, let's wait and see. Well, it'll be an interesting week again, another week of announcements, and let's hope that the final one next Friday is going to be something really special along those kind of lines. So thank you again. Thanks for keeping me company for the last part. Thanks to everybody who's watched. Yeah, absolutely, yeah, fingers crossed. I mean, it's going to be a busy weekend, but all being well, hopefully should get the stream in still on the Sunday. And again, I'll say my usual comment at the end, but if you haven't liked and subscribed before, then please do so. I'll be tremendously grateful. And the notification as well. And yeah, have a good week too, Amaze Days. It's been fantastic. Yeah, really enjoyed it. Enjoyed all the runs, and again, it's been good. Yeah, thank you very much. Enjoyed all the chat. It's been fantastic. So until next time, and hopefully next week. And from me, Power Flower, Trains and Planes. It's goodbye.